Hi, this is Mrs. Patterson, and I want to help you get through the Unit D of the Word exercises called Footprints. First, you need to go to the Google Classroom and download the files that are there for footprints. So you will have a WD D1, you'll have a Pagoda image, it's the JPEG file extension, and you'll have the footprints table. I did the typing for you already in Excel. We're going to copy and paste from that table. I'm going to open it now. It can just sit in the background. So you open up the Word document, and the first thing you're going to do is do File, Save As, find your folder in your computer. I'm going to be using this one for now, and save it as Footprints with your own initials. So I'm going to be good student, and I'm going to add CT-5. You can just put in Footprints with your initials. When it asks if you want to update to the latest version, you can say yes, okay, and there we go. This unit is formatting the whole document. So you learned how to format fonts and you've learned how to format paragraphs. Now we're talking about the whole document. So we're going to be working with margins, sections, page breaks, columns, page numbers with headers and footers, and using a table and adding some clip art. I am in the textbook on Word page 77 and now going to Word page 78, which is the document margins. So the first thing after we save it is to set up the margins, and that's under page layout, margins, and we're going to go to custom margin, and we're going to set them all to 0.7. So you can use your spin arrows and go down to 0.7 for the top and bottom, and the left and right. If we were going to have a gutter, the gutter is if you're going to do binding as a book, or so whatever you would need to staple it together or use the spiral bindings, that's how much you leave space for the binding is called the gutter. Of course, you can have it portrait where it's taller than it is wide, or you can have it landscaped orientation where it's wider than it's tall. Paper we don't need. Layout we talked about before. Vertical alignment is here, and we will end up with different headers and footers on different pages, but we don't need that right now. Okay, and we set the margins to 0.7. Okay. Next, we're going to divide the document into sections. We do this a few times throughout this project. So the first section, first of all, let me maximize my window. You'll see on your status bar right here that it says section 1 down on the bottom left of my status bar. And so I'm going to make sure, if you don't see that, you right mouse on your status bar and choose section. Here it is right here, right mouse on your status bar, there's section. Okay, you must have also your show hide icons on right here. And we're going to go to the QST launch New Tours in South Africa. Launch New Tours in South Africa right here. And then we're going to put in a continuous break. So the breaks are under page layout. We go to breaks, we're putting in a continuous. So you will see when you have the show hide markers on the non-printing characters that above, you look over here at the sections is section 1, and if you click below, it'll be section 2. All right. We're now going to set the rest of the document to 2 columns. So click anywhere in this main section 2, anywhere you want. I'm going to go to columns 2. We're going to be changing that throughout, so don't worry if it looks a mess while you're working on it. Okay, next, page breaks. So we're going to need a few page breaks in the document. So the first page break I'm going to put here, and it's Spotlight on Japan, and I'm going to put a next page break. So breaks, and then I want to do a next page, so it'll have its own section. Don't worry that it doesn't look right. We'll be fixing it. And then at language and culture, we just need another page break, a hard page break. You can hit Control Enter, and it'll put it in for us. And then we also need at Traveler's Corner, right here, you can use Control Enter. So now we have different sections. I have section 3. And here I have section 2. And here I have section 1. Okay, we're moving on now to, and if you want to read more about that, that's on Word page 82. We're now going to format the columns, which is in the Word book, page 84. And I really think this is cool. It fixes page 1. So better save my work, Control S. Now if you zoom out, use the mouse and mouse wheel backwards on Control, you can see that page 1 goes over just slightly. It's often a problem that I have with columns, so it's easy to fix by doing this. You click in the section, and I'm going to go to columns, and I'm going to use right columns. So now this section is right columns. The rest is still 2 columns, and that's good. Where do we go next? I want to make sure I'm following along for you. Okay, page width. So I know we're going to need that from here in the Shoguns going back up. So if you can get that first paragraph mark, it's really hard to get it, but it looks a lot better if you can get it. So maybe I can use, if I can use Shift to get it. We're going to set this to be 1 column. And it puts in a break for us. And now when you make different columns, you see it made a new section in the bottom. And these are all right here. We're actually going to end up making feature toward details 1 column. So you can go ahead and do that, columns 1. And then Traveler's Corners to the end of the document, we're going to be making that 3 columns, but it's a special 3 columns. So go to columns, after Traveler's Corners. It starts with malaria. So click right before the word malaria. And then you go to columns, and we could use 3 here, but it won't fit on the page. So there's another trick to know. Under more columns, we're still going to choose 3 columns, but we set the spacing to be less between the columns. So now they'll fit nicely on the page. I put a line between, it'll look cool, and I say okie dokie. You'll see here, my Traveler's Corners, I did not want that part to be at 3 columns. So I can easily fix it by highlighting the text, and I want the paragraph mark, and I'll just go to columns and make it 1 column. And now it's all set. We want to balance the columns. That means make the columns the same height. So I'm going to click right at the word airport in the last column on page 4. And at the last column, I'm going to put in a continuous section break. It's a trick to balance the columns. It's a good test question too. So I go to Page Layout tab, I go to Breaks, Continuous, and now you'll see it balances out the columns, and we're asked to put our name here. So I'm going to put good student. You put your name, CT-5. Better save by work, Control S. So right now you should have 4 pages, and it should look something like this. And we're almost there. Let me make sure the rest of our columns are formatted correctly, and then we go on to page numbers. So we need to have Luxurious Tours actually went over for us, but I wanted to show you how to put in a column break. If you want to put a column text on the top of a next column, then you need to do page layout breaks, and you want what's called a column break. So I'm going to put it in right here, and you can see the non-printing characters showed up here. It actually formatted nicely for us the way we did it, but I wanted to show you anyways. Okay, we're going to have to pick up with the next video.